going on, everybody? It is me, the one and only Mikey Masker, and I'm back at it again. This time, I am doing my top 5 horror Funko Pops. Yes, the horror Funko Pops. I'm bringing them out because, as y'all seen in my last video, I don't know if y'all haven't, I will put a link to it down in the description below. I am doing a whole month. This whole month of October is pretty much going to be everything, well, at least 80% is going to be based on horror and Halloween related things all throughout October. I'm a huge horror fan. I love horror movies and all things horror related. I love Halloween. It's just my thing, my favorite time of the year. Love it, just straight up. So I wanted to kind of like get a little, get y'all involved in the things I love, and one of the things I love is horror. Horror movies, horror related things, just that in general. So here we go. We're going to do a top 5, and I have a bonus. So it's kind of like a top 6 of my favorite horror-related Funko Pops. So let's go. Let's get into this. The very first one that I have, and believe me, he will agree that I do have great sights to show you, and it is Mr. Doug Bradley himself, Pinhead from Hellraiser. There is no other Pinhead besides Doug Bradley. He is the bomb. I love Doug Bradley. He's done a great job with the Hellraiser movies. If you've seen the Hellraiser Revelations, I mean, you know right there that there can be no other Pinhead besides Doug Bradley. So definitely my number 5 right here is Pinhead from the Hellraiser series. Loved it. So much gore. Just a gore fest. Definitely one of the best movies out there, that whole series of Hellraiser. Although for me, I truly think that the Hellraiser series kind of gets a little after the third movie. But the first 3, I think, are the bomb. After third, it's a little but I mean, I still love them. I still watch them. So okay, so now for my number 4 pick, I am actually picking from Scream, Ghostface. Yes, Ghostface. This is more of a newer of these that I have. A lot of them are actually older, old school. This is from the 90s, Scream was. And for me, I picked this one because there is so much to talk about with Scream. Wes Craven did an amazing job. At that time, I felt like there were no slasher films. There were no great horror films around at this time in the 90s. Then when Scream came out, I definitely believe that it made the horror genre very strong. It brought it back strong when this came out because it was amazing. I loved it. That phone call to Drew Barrymore at the beginning and her having to answer the questions, and them the questions that were asked were all horror related from classic films like Halloween and Friday the 13th. Amazing. I loved it. Love it so much. So definitely very happy with this. This is Ghostface. Ghostface does look awesome. I mean, very iconic, a very iconic mask that when you see every year at Halloween. So, you know, it's kind of hard not to put Ghostface from Scream in this. So here you go. This is actually my number 4. So Ghostface from Scream. And so for my number 3 pick, you know, I'm from Texas, so I gotta represent, and I got Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love it. Gunnar Hansen, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface, oh my god. I miss that dude so much. I mean, I don't really know him personally, but, you know, it was a sad day to find out that him and Wes Craven, who also directed Scream, I mean, when those two passed away, I mean, it was very hard, and it was a big thing in the horror community with dealing with that. And hell, just last week we had Herschel Gordon Lewis passed away, and that was a big hit because, I mean, that dude was the godfather of gore. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, go check him out. Highly recommend stuff like the Twosome Gruesome, the Gore Girls, Wizard of Gore. I mean, there's just so many classics by him, so go check him out. But anyways, back to this, number 3, the Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen, who recently passed away. Very sad and everything. It was good that we at least got to see him do a role in another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which was the most recent one that we got, which was Texas Chainsaw. So he's actually in there. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. That was pretty much his last, like, Texas Chainsaw related film that he did. And you know, Leatherface, Texas. I mean, I gotta represent. So, you know, top 5, gotta put Leatherface in there. I mean, he's awesome. Just look at that. He's wearing the skin. He had a meat suit. He had a meat dressed outfit before Lady Gaga. Believe it. Okay, so for my number 2 on this one, I had to actually make this list a little groovy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe I need to go get the boomstick. And if you still don't know what I'm talking about, I have Ash. Ash from Army of Darkness. He's also in The Evil Dead. If you've not seen those, definitely really awesome. The Evil Dead, one of the movies that I saw very early. Which one? Evil Dead 2. I saw that when I was really young, and I just kept on thinking about how gory could this movie be with all the blood. And then there's the scene when the pipe breaks and blood comes out of the pipe, and it's just like, where is all this blood coming from? I mean, I thought it was hilarious. I loved it when that happened. Ash, awesome. Always with his Give Me Some Sugar Baby and saying groovy at the end of the Evil Dead remake. That was actually really cool with that one girl. I forget her name. Levy. Something Levy. Was it Jane Levy or something? If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I just can't think while filming it. But at the very end of that movie, at the end of the credits, we get to see Bruce Campbell himself as Ash do that little note, that little quick quote, groovy. That is it. So, if you haven't seen any of the Army of Darkness or any of the Evil Dead movies, definitely go check those out. Those are actually really awesome, especially when you do get to witness Bruce Campbell himself. Anything with Bruce Campbell is awesome because the Bruce is the man. So, Ash, Army of Darkness, number 2. Okay, so for my number 1, I had to do it. You know, I'm a huge vampire fan. I love vampire movies. Don't you dare bring up Twilight into this. That is not nowhere close to having anything involving vampires. Those are fairies in that film. They're overgrown fairies, alright? So don't bring that Twilight up here with that. I'm talking about an original vampire. One of the best ones out there, and that is Nosferatu. This was actually my very first black and white horror film that I actually watched. No, wait, I take that back. My very first one was Vincent Price, The House on Haunted Hill, I believe. That was actually my first black and white one. This was actually my second one, but this is actually my favorite black and white film, and that is Nosferatu. I love this film. It is one amazing, amazing piece of work. Just a silent black and white film. I mean, just eerie and amazing. I love it. I love it so much. This is what got me into actually loving vampire films, like behind me, Bela Lugosi and Dracula. I mean, Nosferatu was what started it for me, and I am so happy that I was actually introduced to this at such a young age and was able to watch these because, you know, I had parents who loved watching these horror films, whether old school, new school. They still watch them with me sometimes. Sometimes I come over to their house and I'm like, hey, I got some horror movies and everything, and they'll be like, do you have the new Conjuring movie? And I'm like, Conjuring 2? Yes. And we'll watch them, and I mean, it's just a great thing having a family who actually loves this stuff too, who enjoy horror-related things. So, thank you, Mom, Dad, everybody, my sisters, my stepdad, all y'all who actually got me into horror and got me loving it, because awesome. So, number 1, Nosferatu, one of the greatest vampires of all time right here. Check him out. Haven't seen it? Go do it. Go watch Nosferatu. And if you are also into rock music like me, there is actually a version of Nosferatu that has Typo Negative. Rest in peace, Peter Steele. It has the Typo Negative album that actually aligns with the movie. So with Nosferatu, which is actually pretty cool. So if you want to check something really cool out, check that out, because I know they did the same thing with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and what was it? The Wizard of Oz. That's what it was. So they did something like that with Nosferatu in one of the Typo Negative albums. So go check them out. Definitely worth it. Okay, so for an added bonus, I didn't really want to go the whole cliche route with this and pick mainly Jason and Freddy from, you know, two of the most popular horror movies that everybody would normally pick, you know, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. But, you know, I kind of did, and that's why I made this one a bonus. Of course, y'all know what it is. If you've actually been subscribed to me, or if you've seen some of my videos, you know, I've talked about it before in other videos, and it's my second favorite movie. It is Michael Myers from Halloween. Halloween, this is the movie that actually gave me chills the first time I watched it. And in fact, you know, my name is Mike, Michael, real name. You know, a lot of people actually said that I was kind of like Michael Myers. They used to joke around because I am very light on my feet, and people do not hear me when I walk. So a lot of people used to make like jokes about how I have a Michael Myers walk because I don't leave any footsteps, pretty much, where my footsteps don't sound, or however the way they say it. So, you know, it kind of stuck. You know, people used to joke around, call me Michael Myers, and I loved it because I loved Halloween so much. I remember actually being at my dad's house watching this film, and it was awesome. I don't remember when it was. All I remember was that I was a little kid, very beginning, seeing that pumpkin in the credits, John Carpenter's, and Jamie Lee Curtis's name, Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis in there. I mean, it was just one hell of an experience when you're like, I think maybe 7 or 8 years old watching Halloween. So I loved it. It was awesome. Great film. You know, you have a silent killer who pretty much walks around with no footsteps because he's just so silent. You know, don't know much about him. All you know is that he's just after Laurie Strode, and you find out later on that that's his sister, and he wants to get rid of his family pretty much, and she's pretty much the last one, which kind of gets thrown into the mix because we actually find out later on that she has a son, and he never goes after the son because they never continued the movies to find out what would happen to him. So there's a lot of plot holes. When you actually watch some of the Halloween films, you'll actually notice. So definitely go check out all the Halloween films. I have every single Halloween film that there is. All of them. I love them all. Even the Halloween remakes by Rob Zombie. Those are definitely awesome ones. I do not compare those to the original two Halloween movies, but they are actually a decent watch to watch. The Rob Zombie ones, they're pretty good. So I do prefer the John Carpenter's Halloween number 1 and 2 over the Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. So definitely go check out every Halloween film. They are definitely worth it, even the ones except for Resurrection. I mean, I'll admit that I watched Resurrection, don't have it, but Busta Rhymes as a kung fu expert, that's no. Just no. So go check out some Halloween movies. Go check out a lot of horror movies this month. Come on, it is October. Halloween is coming up. I'm also half Mexican, so I do believe in Dia de los Muertos. So that actually does go beyond October into the first part of November too. So for me, Halloween never really stops on the 31st. It kind of goes on a couple of days. So anyways, that's pretty much it for my top 5. If some of you out there who are watching this video actually do have quite a few of these horror Funko Pops, definitely make a top 5 video. Tag me in it. I would like to see it. And comment down below. Let me know if you have some of these. If you don't want to make a video, comment down below and tell me which ones you have. Tell me which ones you like. Tell me if you're into horror. Let's get into this great big Halloween horror discussion because it would be really awesome and I enjoy that a lot. Anyways, I'm Mikey Masker. Thank you all for taking the time out of the day to watch this video. I truly appreciate that you took the time out of the day to watch this video. It truly means a lot to me. And remember to monster smash that like button and subscribe as well because that would make you really, really awesome too. Anyways, I'm Mikey Masker. I am out of here. Peace.